For a personal perspective, I will now call on a newly elected and a past city councillor, a past board member of Three Oaks, and a lifelong advocate for her community, Pat Culhane. Pat, we welcome you and look forward to your message.
Thank you, Jen. Ladies and gentlemen, why are we here today? We're here today for the reasons that Jen just laid out so clearly and succinctly. We're here today because violence against women is an all-pervasive world, country, community, ongoing problem. Why am I here today? I am here because I have asked for and been given a position of leadership in this community. I'm very grateful for the opportunity. I'm also here as a woman who experienced violence and domestic abuse at the hands of my husband. It was a long time ago, but it altered the course of my entire life. I don't tell you about this to upset anyone. I tell you about this to make you understand that there are thousands of women like me in this community who have never spoken up and perhaps never will. I thought at the time the cause was alcohol. My husband stopped drinking and did not drink for the 7 years we were married. The cause was not alcohol. The cause, violence against women, has many root causes, but at the core, it is about control and dominance. I was diminished, demeaned, assaulted. I went to work with my face bandaged, and I wore turtlenecks to hide the bruising. One night I called the police, absolutely no disrespect, sir, from a neighbor's home, because my husband had a rifle and decided that perhaps I should be stopped from talking once and for all. Their response was to come to the call, walk me back to the house, and send me in first, so that he would not become more agitated upon seeing the police. They asked me what had I done to upset him. They knew him as an honest, hard-working guy. There were no charges, and they saw no reason to take the gun. So you ask yourself, why didn't I just leave? There are many, many answers to that question. It was a long time ago. I was ashamed, and I was busy lying to everyone, along with every other woman that was in that set of circumstances. He made more money, and I had never lived independently. Perhaps most importantly, he was broken, and I thought I could fix him. It was a mistake that many nurses made and continue to make. It was the 70s. Domestic violence was not a topic for discussion. There was no women's shelter. There was no urgent housing list. There were no numbers to call except for the police. And they did nothing wrong for the times. They acted the same way everyone else did. It was not a topic for discussion. So, after 7 years, I left once, and I was gone for good. The average number of times a woman flees violence is 7 before she is successful. I changed. I became an advocate for women battling violence in all walks of life. I became a spokesperson, a board member when Three Oaks arrived, a mentor for women who need help to gain the strength and independence they need to realize their own importance. I am, for the 3rd time, a city councillor, and fiercely proud of all that this community, and indeed this country, has accomplished in uncovering the dark secret that is violence against women. I am proud of all women who unite to seek an end to that violence, and I extend sincere thanks to Jan and the members of GRAN for inviting me here today. It means a great deal to me to be part of this effort, and it means a great deal to the community and indeed to the world when all of you light your candles and stand up. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pat, for sharing your experiences with us. We appreciate your silence, your courage in breaking the silence. Advocates understand that while the names and contexts may differ across geographic locations, women and girls everywhere are experiencing extensive abuse, and their stories need to be brought to light. I will now invite Mayor Tazel Christopher to formally launch the Orange Campaign by reading a proclamation by the City of Belleville.
Okay, thank you, Jen. Good evening, everybody, and a special warm welcome and congratulations to Council-elect Pat Culhane. All the best in the future and in the 4 years before you and your fellow council. And also, I'd like to recognize Councilor Thompson. He's here somewhere. Just put your hand up, Grant. Thank you very much for coming. And to Jan and to all of her grands and volunteers, thank you so much for the invite. It's been quite a ride for myself for the last 4 years as mayor, for the last 12 being an elected official in the greatest city in the province of Ontario. It's truly an honor. What's unique is this will be the last proclamation that I'll read as mayor of the city of Belleville, and I'll touch it. It's very touching. These ladies, these volunteers have gone above and beyond the city of Belleville to facilitate, to help, to educate, and to communicate with people about violence. And I'll tell you, it's so nice to sit on this side and look. And if you would see the power and the strength and those signs that you're holding, it's a phenomenal feeling. We should be tremendously proud that when we live in a city, second in the province and in the greatest country in the world, we should be tremendously proud. And never forget your neighbors. It's very, very important. So I have the honor today to read the proclamation to unite and to end violence against women and girls, Orange Day. Whereas the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, November 25, which is International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, to December the 10th, International Human Rights Day, is a time to galvanize action to end violence against women and girls. And whereas the United Nations Unite campaign to end violence against women and girls raises awareness and calls for action during these 16 days, using the color orange as unifying the theme. And whereas the city acknowledges the Grandmothers Advocacy Network, GRAN, a Canadian organization working to end violence against women and girls, and whereas violence against women and girls is pervasive around the world, including Canada and including our hometown city of Belleville. And whereas, therefore, I, Tazel Christopher, Mayor of the greatest city in the province of Ontario, do hereby proclaim 16 days from November 25th to December the 10th as Unite to the End of Violence Against Women and Girls Orange Day in the city of Belleville. Thank you very much.
GRANquinte is so very grateful to Mayor Christopher, to the members of Belleville City Council and the city staff for their solid support of the Orange Campaign. By participating, you have stepped up to join 90 communities in 90 countries around the world to shine a spotlight on the implications and consequences of violence against women and girls. I would now like to call on Deputy Chief Mike Callahan of Belleville Police Services for a few words.
Thank you very much, everyone, for the opportunity to come and speak today on behalf of the Chief of Police and the Belleville Police Service. And just before I make a few words, I just wanted to follow up on something that Councillor-elect Culhane had indicated, and that is 100% correct. When I joined policing 34 years ago, I can assure you that the emphasis, the consideration, the compassion, and the empathy for violence against women existed, but in a very, very insignificant way. And shame on us, shame on the policing community for allowing that to happen. I can tell you that since that time, we have spent a considerable amount of time, effort, and money on educating our officers to ensure that they are doing their best job to reduce violence against women. Oh, pick it up. Sure. Get a little closer here. Is that better? Yes. Okay. My apologies. Violence against women and children is one of the single most pressing issues that affect our community and communities across Canada and across the world. We have to make a change. And by you being here today is making a statement that we are ready for change and it has to stop. The Belleville Police Service takes this issue very seriously, and our goal to make Belleville one of the safest communities in Ontario ensures that we are looking out for the rights of women, children, and anybody who is a victim of violence. When we look at the statistics, and police officers love statistics to put context around things, when we look at what Stats Can has indicated that 362,000 people, specifically women and children, are witness or victims of violence against women. When we look at that and we break it down over approximately 36 million people in Canada, that's 1 in every 100 people is witness to violence against women. That's wrong, and we need to change it, and that change starts here today. Seven out of 10 people in Canada who experience family violence are women or girls. It is estimated that 87% of all sexual assaults are committed against women and young girls. The Stats Canada report of 2016 indicated that over 70% of intimate partner assaults went unreported. We have to change that. And through education, awareness, and vigils like this, we are going to make that change. There's no question this is a systemic problem, and we need to address it through education, awareness, and then as a last resort, through incarceration. I can tell you in 34 years of policing, you cannot arrest your way out of a problem. The problem starts back at the very young, tender age of educating our youth to ensure that they know that this behavior is absolutely unacceptable. Collectively as a community, we need to strive to do a better job of this education awareness in supporting a very vulnerable sector of our society. You have our pledge from the men and women at the Belleville Police Service to work with you and for you to effect a positive change in our community, which will have a direct correlation to our nation from coast to coast. Simply put, hope is the belief that change can and will happen. We are agents of that hope, to effect that change, and this is a paramount job, something we need to do. I would like to thank you again for this opportunity to speak with you here today, and I would like to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and one that is filled with good health, prosperity, and love. Thank you.
This is okay. Thank you, Deputy Chief. Regrets were received by us from the offices of both Neil Ellis, MP, and Todd Smith, MPP. Both of them had prior commitments. Now, just before you go, if you're wondering how you can participate in the 16 days of activism, here are some suggestions. You've already started by attending the vigil. Wear orange clothing or an orange lapel ribbon until December 10th, and explain to people why you were wearing this color, especially during the Christmas season. Decorate your homes and offices in orange. You can drop into the library and check out the special display on the second floor. Support or volunteer with an organization that supports women who are experiencing violence. Drop into Bridge Street United Church on December 10th, anytime between 1 and 7, to sign an appeal letter on behalf of women human rights defenders. Spread the message through social media. #HearMeToo. Together with activists around the world, Belleville unites to end violence against women and girls. Thank you for being part of this initiative.